Let's talk about money, namely the fact that I don't have a ton of it. Today I'm going to tell you how to get books for free or cheap. So money. If you are like me, you have a lot less of it than you would prefer. Unfortunately, it is not raining like manna from the heavens. It is scarce and hard to come by sometimes. So I've heard a common complaint about BookTube that it's just not very affordable. You see a lot of these people holding up shiny brand new hardback books that they can hold in their hands and talk about on their BookTube videos. Well, I don't have that kind of money, and honestly, a lot of the booktubers don't have that kind of money. Maybe they're getting those books for free from publishers to help kind of promote the book before it comes out. Or maybe they do have that kind of money. I don't know. But I am going to tell you how you can find books to read for free or cheap. Yes, you can feed your addiction without going broke, or as my kid would call it, broke 5 broke. We ain't got it. Number one is the Overdrive app. This is probably the most handy thing, and it's revolutionized the way that I read, the way I have access to books. It's through the library, but if you are a busy professional woman such as myself or man, you don't have time to always go to the library. Or another problem I was having was I would go to the library and then procrastinate on returning the books and constantly be late. Or I would put something on hold and not be able to get to the library in the 2 or 3 days that it took before they reshelved it to go pick it up. So the Overdrive app delivers the books directly to your smartphone, your tablet, whatever device you download the app on. It's good on iPhones and Android devices. What you do is you put in your library number, you find your library on the app, add your library card number, your passcode, or whatever they require for you to get in, and then it gives you access to their lending library of audiobooks and Kindle books. What? Yes! Yes, you have full access to audiobooks, and I say Kindle books, but they don't have to be delivered to a Kindle. They can be read directly on your device of your choice, just right there on your smartphone, using the web browser, however you best want to consume it. That's where I probably do 90, maybe 85% of my reading is either downloading stuff from that app directly to my Kindle or listening to the audiobook version right from my smartphone. It's so handy and free. It's free. It's through the library. It's totally free. And because it's all digitized, you don't really have to worry about going to the library to return it because they just revoke your access to it and pull it back whenever time's up. So you don't have to physically return it. Although, the problem I run into is I go on a borrowing frenzy and then am not able to listen or read to everything in time. So that's one thing to keep in mind. You may have to go back and recheck stuff out, wait in line again for it to come available, and get to it then. Number 2, NetGalley.com, NetGalley.com. This is where you'll see some people getting some advanced reader copies of books. Now, if you're not a huge booktuber, like for example, I'm not huge, people aren't sending me stuff in advance in the hopes that I'll read it. I don't get any sort of special favors, so what I do is I will go to NetGalley.com, and if there's a book that's going to come out in the near future that looks good, I'll go ahead and put a request on it there. Now, they do favor people who actually review books, so if you have an account on Goodreads where you review books there, if you give your ratings, or if you have a blog like I have where you review books, again, my audience is not very big, so I don't get automatically approved. In fact, I don't get approved for at least half of the stuff that I request. But every now and then I get some good stuff, like The Girl Before. I got to read the latest Sophie Kinsella book before it came out. Fitness Junkie, I got to read that before it came out. There have been some really good finds that people have approved me for, surprisingly enough. So NetGalley.com, get over there and you might be able to read some stuff before it comes out. The only thing that they ask in return is just an an unbiased, honest review. Number 3 is the Kindle, and I know that this is kind of cheating. This is not really free nor cheap because you have to buy the Kindle, and then one of the free options that I'm going to recommend, you would have to buy the Prime membership. So that's a $200 or $300 investment right there before you've even started. But if you have a Kindle, which is the e-reader from Amazon, and if you have a Prime account with Amazon, which is, I think the going rate right now is somewhere around $100 a year, then they have a lending library where they have lots of Prime books available for you to read for free on your Kindle. Now, they used to have a limit of 1 Prime book that you could borrow per month. I don't know if they still have that limit on there or if you can do multiples in a month, but there's that option. You can also find a lot of Kindle versions of books for cheaper than you would the hard or softback paper book. Because it's digitized, the delivery method of it is a lot cheaper. They don't have all the production costs, the materials, the shipping, all of that to go into it. It's literally just a digital copy. So oftentimes you can find a Kindle book pretty inexpensively, like under $10 a lot of times. So again, I know there's an initial investment with that, but it's just so handy. It's so convenient. I held out for the longest time on not getting a Kindle because, as you can tell, I love the tactile experience of reading. I love turning the pages, pointing at certain things. It's wonderful. I held out for so long, but when I finally got my Kindle, it was like, what took me so long? If you get the Paperwhite version in particular, it's a lot easier on your eyes. If you try to do your reading on a Kindle Fire or an iPad, there's a lot more eye strain there because it's backlit. The Kindle Paperwhite is lit by a different means, so it looks more like an actual page that you're looking at. So, highly recommend it, even though technically it's not free. It's not cheap, but the books that you can get afterwards are pretty cheap. Now, an honorable mention that I didn't really talk about here because I've done a whole other video on this is thrift stores. Used bookstores are great too. So thrift stores are where you can go and oftentimes find a diamond in the rough. You can find books that are out of print, books that you might not have thought about doing, but since it's only like $1 or even less, you might as well give it a try. I have a whole video that I talk about thrift store finds. I found some really funky books that I read that I would never have come across otherwise. They're wonderful. Used bookstores are a lot less ubiquitous than they used to be in my childhood. I'm seeing less and less of them. I'm not sure if that's because of the growing popularity of digitized e-readers, or if it's just not a very profitable business model. When you think about it, if you're selling things, you know, between $1 and $5 a pop, it's hard to pay the rent and keep the doors open based off of just that, especially with less and less people going there and buying those things. So used bookstores, good resource, kind of a vanishing resource. So there you have it. You don't have to be rich. You can read even if you're broke. Reading is for everyone, whatever your wallet size. Enjoy. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time. Bye.